Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, where we track the most significant updates shaping Iraq's economic transformation. Today's report may mark a turning point. If you've been closely monitoring the evolution of Iraq's monetary policies and its reintegration into the global financial stage, then you know we've reached a moment where many long-building developments are finally converging. This may well be the closest Iraq has come to officially revaluing its currency, and the signals are stronger than ever. A major breakthrough begins with the Iraqi National Oil Company, INOC, gaining complete authority over the country's oil sector. For years, internal tensions between Baghdad and the Kurdistan region stalled progress on energy legislation and revenue agreements. But that's changed. Kurdistan has formally agreed to unify under the central government's oil framework. This is more than a procedural victory. It symbolizes national cohesion and removes a long-standing obstacle to economic clarity. With Prime Minister Soudani now overseeing Iraq's oil production and income distribution, the groundwork for true economic stabilization has finally been laid. This level of centralized control is crucial, and it's exactly the type of structural reform global institutions like the IMF and the US Treasury have been monitoring closely. What's more, Prime Minister Soudani isn't stopping with oil policy. He's pushing forward with sweeping economic reforms, including legislation informally known as the Human Capital Development Law, originally referenced as the Hydrogen Chloride Law. This initiative focuses on job creation and building sustainable employment across the country. It's designed to reduce poverty and stimulate internal growth, but it also serves a deeper political purpose. Soudani is fully aware that economic empowerment equals electoral support. His urgency signals that the revaluation isn't just a fiscal milestone, it's becoming a core element of his political legacy. Behind the scenes, important activity is ramping up. Managers at multiple redemption centers recently attended what's being described as a final operational meeting before rollout. According to several reliable sources connected with at least 6 exchange locations, notifications are now expected to start arriving as early as this coming weekend, with a more conservative estimate placing the launch window by Monday. This isn't a delay, it's a move toward execution. These centers are transitioning from planning to actual deployment, confirming that we are closer than at any point before. Now comes the truly groundbreaking news. Direct talks are reportedly underway between the International Monetary Fund and the US Treasury about assigning a new official exchange rate to the Iraqi dinar. This isn't internet speculation or idle discussion. These are formal conversations between two of the world's most influential financial institutions, and one of the values being discussed is parity, $1.00 USD to 1 IQD. This development cannot be overstated. For the IMF and US Treasury to even consider this option, Iraq must have surpassed a long list of economic, political, and fiscal benchmarks that were once thought to be years away from achievement. So what specific changes have brought Iraq to this moment? A great deal, actually. The country's economic indicators have been trending positively, though largely under the radar. Oil revenues are rising, foreign currency reserves are stronger than in past years. Iraq's international trade channels are expanding, and its debt is now more manageable. The Central Bank of Iraq has implemented a wide array of reforms within the last year alone, reforms that include moving from a cash-heavy economy to a more modern digital infrastructure. Digital payment platforms, card-based access systems, and electronic banking services are being implemented nationwide. These enhancements are not cosmetic. They are signs of systemic change, and international eyes are watching. If you're holding IQD, this moment could be everything you've been preparing for. To illustrate the potential impact, a revaluation to $1.00 per dinar would mean someone holding 10,000 IQD could now exchange it for $10,000.00. If you're holding 100,000 IQD, that becomes $100,000.00. It's not just exciting, it could be transformative. These funds could erase debts, fund higher education, launch a business, or even create generational financial security. More importantly, it would validate the years of patience, research, and cautious optimism so many holders have invested. But before any celebration, it's critical to acknowledge that these discussions are preliminary. Nothing is locked in. The IMF and U.S. Treasury are still conducting detailed evaluations, including risk assessments and economic modeling. They won't proceed unless they are convinced Iraq can maintain its value post-revaluation. That's what we all want, a sustainable, recognized value, not a temporary spike that collapses under instability. A durable exchange rate is the goal, and if this happens, it must be built to last. So what should you do right now? First, remain steady. Avoid reacting to hearsay or hype. Ensure your IQD is stored securely, ideally in a fireproof safe. Consult with your bank to determine if they deal in foreign currencies and whether IQD is already being accepted. Pay attention only to verified announcements from banking institutions and government agencies. If the revaluation is real, the confirmation will come from official sources, not social media. And beware, this is exactly when scammers strike. If someone reaches out offering to exchange your IQD at a special rate or through a private group, walk away immediately. No legitimate transaction will require back-channel deals or secret arrangements. Authorized banks and registered redemption centers will handle all legitimate exchanges. You already hold the value. There's no need to risk it for false promises or shortcuts. The Central Bank of Iraq is also rolling out key infrastructure upgrades behind the scenes. One major initiative involves releasing new, smaller denomination bills that reflect the anticipated new rate. These new notes will help reduce reliance on outdated large bills and increase purchasing power across everyday transactions. This change isn't just about the money. It's about improving quality of life for Iraqis. Modern ATM networks are being upgraded too, allowing both domestic users and international holders access to their funds via mobile apps, digital transfers, and real-time balance tools. Iraq is moving into the modern banking world and fast. Let's pause here. If everything we've discussed so far holds steady, then we are standing on the edge of a financial shift that many believed would never come. In the second half of this report, we'll explore how Iraq's new legislation, job creation efforts, and global redemption procedures are laying the final foundation. Plus, we'll cover what you need to know about taxes, financial planning, and the rollout timeline across different regions like the US, Europe, and Asia. Returning to Iraq's development plan, let's look more closely at the law often referred to as the human capital legislation. This isn't just another policy, it's a key part of Iraq's economic recovery strategy. The law is designed to spark growth in domestic industries, expand employment, and give Iraqi citizens pathways to financial mobility. As employment sectors rise, wages follow, consumer demand increases, and the flow of money throughout the economy accelerates. This creates a chain reaction that fuels continued growth. Evidence of this can already be seen in the construction industry. New roads are being developed, schools are under reconstruction, job opportunities are becoming more widespread. Iraq isn't just issuing new currency, it's rebuilding from the inside out, empowering people with jobs, pride, and a future. Now, let's focus on you, the holder of Iraqi dinar. If revaluation happens at 1-to-1 or even a more conservative rate, it's essential that you approach this moment with clarity and a plan. This is not a lottery jackpot. It's a shift in asset value, and like any major asset change, it requires professional guidance. Work with a licensed financial advisor. Speak with a certified public accountant, CPA. Consult an attorney if necessary. Determine how much currency to exchange immediately and how much to hold. Understand how to manage the upcoming tax implications. On the topic of taxes, don't make assumptions. Currency revaluations may be treated differently depending on your jurisdiction. In some places, this kind of gain might be taxed as income. In others, it could fall under capital gains. If you live in the United States, prepare to submit appropriate documentation to the IRS. Forms may be required for disclosure, and keeping detailed records will be critical. Get ahead of it. Talk to professionals now, not later. A lack of preparation could cost you more than you expect. Internationally, a network of redemption centers is reportedly preparing for rollout. This includes key locations in North America, Europe, Asia, and Canada. However, not every bank is online yet. Some centers are staging regionally in waves, depending on local regulations and operational readiness. This is not going to be a one-day window or a blink-and-you-miss-it event. The rollout is structured and will unfold in carefully managed phases. You won't miss out if you stay informed, patient, and proactive. Security should also be a priority. Be discreet. Avoid publicizing your exchange or holdings. Don't post receipts or screenshots online. Don't discuss your balance publicly or reveal how much you've exchanged. This isn't paranoia, it's smart financial behavior. Sudden wealth draws attention, and not all of it is safe or welcome. Celebrate with loved ones, share with trusted professionals, but protect your privacy. This is not just about your money, it's about your personal security and peace of mind. Let's return to what the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, is continuing to do behind the curtain. The reform efforts aren't just cosmetic, they're strategic, structural, and deeply intentional. Iraq is moving from a fragmented and outdated system into a fully functioning 21st century economy. Mobile banking is now being introduced throughout the country. Iraqis will soon have access to real-time transfers, balance checks, and electronic payment services that many around the world take for granted. This level of accessibility will redefine daily financial life in Iraq and establish new levels of independence for its people. Taken together, all these moves suggest a major transition in Iraq's financial identity. We're not talking about speculative dreams or unverified rumors anymore. This is a coordinated effort that spans legislation, banking reforms, oil control, international partnerships, and strategic planning. The IMF and U.S. Treasury are no longer just observers, they're active participants in shaping the next phase. The indicators are clear. Iraq is being prepared to rejoin the global financial system with a legitimate and potentially powerful currency. If and when the IQD revaluation becomes official, the entire global economic landscape could shift. Investors who had faith during the uncertain years might finally see returns that exceed expectations. And for Iraq itself, this could be a moment of national pride and international reintegration. A country once isolated by conflict and division may now reintroduce itself to the world as a sovereign economic player, with a currency worth recognizing. But remember, the final step is still pending. No announcement has been made yet, and nothing is confirmed until formal communications are issued, so remain alert but do not act prematurely. Stay off the rumor circuits. Don't make any financial decisions based on guesswork. The only moves worth making are the ones made from information you can verify, and if you're unsure, ask. Reach out to licensed professionals who understand currency law, taxation, and global finance. In conclusion, Iraq appears closer than ever to realizing the long-anticipated revaluation of its national currency, from oil sector unification to modernization of the banking system. And with active consideration from the IMF and U.S. Treasury, all signs suggest the pieces are falling into place. For those who've held on to the Iraqi dinar with hope and patience, this could finally be the breakthrough they've been waiting for. Thank you for staying tuned to Iraqi Dinar News, your source for real-time updates and verified analysis. If this content helped you understand the current developments, consider subscribing and sharing your perspective in the comments below. Until next time, stay smart, stay cautious, and stay ready.